Hi guys, welcome back. Right, today we are doing the Star Wars build. This is the, I don't know, the second big build, Star Wars build I've done. If you want to check out the other one, check out past videos. It's got a walker in there, and it's all planted up, and that's really nice. But we wanted to go a different direction today. We're going to actually build one for a Balfour commune. So it's all going to be nice and dry, arid sort of environment anyway, and the webbing should make it look proper cool. So without further ado, we're just going to crack straight into it. Hope you enjoy, guys. So guys, here we are, here we started. Right, this is originally a custom Aquaria tank. Now, because I wanted to do a full background, and these ones, if you look behind there, had a rear background. So doing a full background would obviously mean there was no ventilation whatsoever, because I just covered it up. So what we've done, I've got some acrylic. Now this is cut to size. So we've got doors on either side, and then the central one piece of acrylic is all fitted, so it's all got loads and loads of ventilation holes as well. So once we did that, we basically got this back bit was a sheet of acrylic to cover up the ventilation holes, then mounted the Star Wars logo on a piece of acrylic, put it in there. Now we've got loads of polystyrene, so what we're going to do, we're going to carve it out. I've just stuck it on sort of a rocky sort of effect, but as you can see, it's still got all, you can still see all the bobbly bits. Now to get rid of those is really easy. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can go scalpel, or this is an old soldering iron that I picked up off eBay. I think it was used, was like £2 or something. Probably rubbish for soldering now, but for this it's easy, because all you have to do is touch it. And there you go. It just melts away, just like that. So what we have to do is just sort of create a rocky effect, sort of blend everything in, get rid of all the bobbly bits. As you can see, I'll show you quickly. If you get, there's a bobbly bit. By the time you've gone over, see there, it's all melted in. Now if you're doing it this way, please, I've got the workshop back doors wide open on this, so it's pretty sticky. So please, if you're going to do it indoors, please leave all the windows open, make sure it's highly ventilated. If you don't want to do it this way, you can also do it with a scalpel. I'm doing it this way because basically it creates less mess. If you're doing it with a scalpel or something, it's the same when you're carbon expanding. When you carbon expanding foam, it creates a hell of a lot of mess. But this one, it just melts through. I've never actually tried using soldering iron on expanding foam yet. I just kind of like just carving it out by hand. But on polystyrene, this effect works a hell of a lot better. So what we've got to do as well, we've got like a side bit here, so it's going to have like a jet of rock coming out as well. And then we've got over here Malawian Falcon, so it all should come in nicely. Got a load of other bits and bobs to do. This is going to be for a big Balfour commune. But I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I have been since a kid, so any excuse to add a few little other bits and pieces, Star Wars bits and pieces in here. But yes, dum 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 dum. On to the next. What we're going to do, we're going to come back, and I'm not going to bore you with melting it all out. We'll come back after it's melted, and then we'll get on to the next process. Now we've done pretty much all the carving, so if you want to demonstrate here, you zoom in closely, there's going to be like little sharp bits where you've melted it. You want to try and smooth out everything. You should just pop off by just rubbing it. Kind of vital in the next bit. Doesn't really matter, but it makes it a little bit more smoother. As you can see around the top, I've not gone all the way to the top because I'm going to pack the mortar in right into the top. So this is going to seal it, plus you're not going to notice any polystyrene apart from on the sides, but then I'll vinyl wrap it as well. Also, when you're doing it, try and leave a gap here at the front, because it gets a bit fiddly if you leave a tiny gap at the front trying to get all the mortar and stuff in. So I'll leave a good maybe inch or so from the front, and sort of blend, the background sort of blends in anyway then. But yes, it's all about just little touch-ups and see how you can get it. Once you've covered this with mortar, it's going to look a whole lot better, but as you can see, the rocks at the bottom and sides look cool. We'll just have to see what it comes out like. Right, next bit we're going to go on to is the mortar. Right guys, we've given this a quick once over with PVA glue. Now this will help the mortar, mucky stuff, to bond to the polystyrene. Now what we're going to do, we're going to just smear it out. This is going to be the first coat. We're going to have about 2-3 coats on this. So the first coat is just basically having a sort of base for it to fall on. So it's just basically, you smear it out a bit like ice in a cake, but an extremely unpleasant tasting cake. So what I've done as well, because I've got another tank here ready to go, so if I get the bottom bit done, I've got any left over I can do quickly run over the front of that hide as well, so I'm not wasting any. Obviously we'll put the tank on its back like this, so what we'll do all that bottom area here, and then we'll turn it onto its side, do that side, and then do that side afterwards as well. So it's like a 3-day sort of thing just to get the base coat on, because you don't really want it, you want it all just with the gravity holding it down so it adheres properly. Otherwise, if you try and do it all at once, it's either just going to fall off and just make a mess anyway. So this way, we do it this way because you're going to have the gravity holding it down. Long process, but it's worth it in the end. Now, if you smother a bit on, this is an old brush, and here we go, just use the shaky. I'm just dabbing it all around. This saves you from, you can like dab it on with a knife, like a big lump, and then smear it round all the polystyrene, just dab it all around. It saves you having like knife marks in it and stuff. It sort of blends it in a bit more, you can see. That way you can get in and keep all your detail, like so. It's looking very dark, but this will lighten up really light. So plus it's really easy to do because it's white polystyrene, so you can sort of see all the bits you need to go over. As I said, this is coat 1, so it's basically putting like your base coat on. Here we go, the back part is all finished. You can see it's not looking like polystyrene at all now. It just looks like a big load of swampy mortar. But from the front, yeah, should look alright. This glass needs a good clean. It's always better. I mean, I usually leave my deep clean and my glass till the end anyway. Because you're only going to get covered in muck and stuff anyway, so I'm pretty much sure there's no scratches on the front, it's just dirt, so that can be easily cleaned off. Taking the masking tape off, I thought I want to take it off and then I'll just be careful around it. As you can see, I've still got to go around the edges a bit. Loads of places where you can see it's sort of not needs going over again. That's what I like about using polystyrene, because you can, right there, you just see there, thin bit there. You can see wherever you've been, so you can make sure that you go over it time and time again. But yeah, quite impressed. First bit done. So guys, we've done 2 sides. It's a very slow process, but it's the only way you can sort of get it to sort of work. The weird thing I've always found is, even though you like mixed mortar, it's the same mortar, you get different sort of colours when you mix it sort of the same. So what we do, would like with the next couple of coats, I can sort of put it upright like this rather than have it on its back and sides, and we should be able to blend it all through. But I think that's looking quite cool so far. And what we could even do is sort of do the highlighting and stuff using mortar and give the shades. But yes, this is where we are. As you can see, there's a few bits. Obviously that's why you've got to go over a couple of times, because no matter how good you are, you still miss little bits. But I love the texture of mortar. Obviously there's been little bits that have sort of come out a bit too much. Break them off. But yes, it's all looking good so far. Alright, so we've done the final coat on, gone over. It's quite dark at the minute. What I've done is also made a rock. So basically use the same principle, just a couple of bits of polystyrene hot glued together, and then we've covered in mortar as well, so it just sort of blends in. Obviously it's just going to be up a bit because of the substrate level. Yeah. It's easier doing the following coats because you put a thinner coat of mortar on, you don't have to lay it on its side, so you can basically do the whole lot in one go. It's only the first like bit that you do, it's a bit hard. I'll clean up the Star Wars sign bit, but yeah, looking cool. Right, next, while we're waiting for that to dry, we've got the Millennium Falcon now. We're gonna try and battle damage it up a little bit. Looks pretty plain at the minute, and yeah, process of waiting now and see what sort of colour it comes out as. So I've done the whole background with the same mix, so basically that we should have one solid colour, and then we can start colour in it as well to make it stand out a bit. So guys, we're all dried out. Just see, I've made a rock there. That's the other rock there, and it sort of works out because we can sort of balance the Millennium Falcon in there to create a sort of dark hide area. We've got some branches and stuff, but this is going to be like a sort of deserty, sort of wastelandy sort of look. Got a couple of other bits of Star Wars stuff that we can bob in. I'm quite pleased with that. This tank did have a chip in it there. It was only like a chip out the corner, but what I've done is I've filled it up with hot glue. So that's going to just seal in because it was loads and loads of little tiny bits. Seal it all together. I'll cut it with a Stanley knife, and then what we'll do when we wrap it, we'll come over with the vinyl and cover it all up. What we're actually going to do now is we're going to have a bit of a clean up. We're going to take everything out and clean any sort of remnants of, you see from the side there, bits of cement that's gone on the glass, clean up all around the side. And then when we're going to add the excavator clay, Steve, get it out, we'll have to clean the front again because it gets a little bit messy. But I'm quite pleased with it actually. Once we add sort of sand and other bits and bobs to the background, it sort of bring it out a bit more. At the minute it's sort of a bit one coloured, even though you are with the light from that, you are seeing like the shadows, which is cool. I'm gonna like dirty the Millennium Falcon up a little bit. Already started a little bit on the front there. Looks a little bit too pristine, but yeah, I think it's looking all right. So guys, I'm sort of in the planning sort of stages of where things to go. Now before I'm going to put the excavator clay in, I've sort of hot glued these just in place. So you can see the rock there. This way when I put the excavator clay in, nothing's going to move, so everything's going to be in the right place, because excavator clay dries pretty hard. I know we're going to do a sand mix, but I don't really want to be having to move stuff, because say the Millennium Falcon didn't fit in just the way I wanted it, then you'd have to move the rock anyway. But as you can see under there, I think the sub-level is going to cover those bits there. And we've got branches, the other rock there. Once that's in, we'll create another webbing sort of bit as well, which leaves me a bit of room for the pit and just a couple of extra bits. But what we're going to do now, we're going to do the substrate. So here we have Zoomed excavator clay, we have clay sand, and we've also got some leopard gecko bedding, which is it's like a sandy sort of mix. I thought that would give it a nice colour as well. This stuff is really cool, but it's sort of it's a bit pinky, so, and it doesn't go a vast way as well. So as we're going to mix it, we're going to put a bit of all three in, so it goes a bit further. I mean, a bag like that, I think it was about £15. All depends where you get it for. You can get it on eBay, online. Some reptile shops actually sell it. But yeah, if you want it to go further, add clay sand, because a big pack of clay sand the same size is a couple of quid. This was left over from something else, so we're just going to add that in just to give it a bit more of a rocky, that's a sort of thing now, a rocky sort of texture as well. Once it's all mixed together, it should look really cool. But what we're going to do, we're going to probably have to do 2 mixes. So what we're going to do, so we don't get any colour variance, we're going to measure out how much we put in of all 3. So when you mix it, theoretically, it should all be the same colour because you're using the same amount of each. Well, that's my thinking anyway. So what we're going to do now, because we cleaned it all off, we can add the Millennium Falcon in at another day. We're going to make sure everything's sort of glued down in place and then mix up the excavator. Right guys, I've got an X-Wing, which was, I think I got it off eBay in a bulk, like Star Warsy bits, but I've repainted that so it's all battle damaged and scarred. I've added a bit of paint onto the Millennium Falcon as well. So I think that actually goes quite well. Let's just pop that light down there, and you get, that's looking pretty cool actually. But we're gonna take these out. As you can see, as you can remember, we glued everything down. And now we're gonna do the mix. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do equal amounts of Z-Med excavator clay. This is kids clay sand. You don't use building sand or anything, you just use clay sand because that's nice and clean. And this is leopard gecko bedding as well. That should give it a different sort of texture. This stuff, it does go a bit pinky, so that's why I'm going to do the mix. Plus it doesn't really go a long way and it's pretty expensive, so if you mix it with sand and everything else, you're going to make it go a lot further. So what we're going to do is add it all in equal quantities, and we're going to add water, but my advice is don't make your mix too wet, yeah, because it will take forever. Now in the workshop at the minute, you can't even see the thermometer, we're on 30 odd degrees in here, so it should dry pretty quickly. But what we're basically going to do, you don't need to see me film it, we're going to do a couple of these, couple of these, and mix it all together, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So this is the sort of wetness you want. So when you squeeze it, it clumps together like that, but it's not a sticky wet mess. Yeah, now you can make your own tunnels etc because it's excavator clay, but if you're going to do that, you need to lessen the amount of sand that you use in it so the clay sticks together. But as we're using this as a base for the flooring, we're not going to actually be making any tunnels, that's why we've gone for a sand mix. So hopefully this big tub here is enough. We'll soon find out. Now I've got rubbish all over everything. What we're going to do, we're going to try and get into all the difficult places first. We want to compact it nicely in there, all the way around. But as you see, because I've put all the like branches and stuff in there, we're going to have to be quite careful because we don't want any little gaps or any glue showing, the hot melt glue. Now you can, it's quite easy to clean off the glass, but yeah, you just use it like any other substrate. Right, we'll pop back when this is done. So as you can see, added the substrate. Now what I've done is smeared it over the back of the rocks, just to give you a bit of, change the appearance slightly, make it not look so dark. Once it's dried it'll look better. But basically all you're doing is just smearing it over the places you'd think like sand or whatever would sort of gather. And got a little pit here. This is resin, so what my idea was, because there's nothing toxic and it's been sealed, and Balfour don't need an awful amount of water, I can just drop a bit of water in there, so it's a funky bowl. But yeah, just a few little touching up bits to do. But now we're probably going to have to leave this for a few days now and wait until it all dries, which might be sooner than that. It's chuffing hot. So guys, all done. We've added a little Balfour. I think there's 32 in here. They're all starting to web up, all being busy. See if we can spot one. There's one at the top there. One in the far corner down there. Oh. Slowly making its home. I decided not to wrap the sides because it's in the display wall. You can't really see the sides. But, yeah. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I think it turned out alright actually. I can't wait until we see the Balfour sort of web it up a bit, and watch them grow as well, because they're only about that big, so they grow to about that big. I think there's, I think I counted there's about 32 in there, so we'll hopefully it will turn out like the Goonies one and just make it look absolutely spot on. Only time can tell. What I'll be doing is doing updates on my Instagram, all the webbing and stuff, and also on the Facebook group. If you've not joined, it's also called Tarantula Enclosures. So yes, Tarantula Enclosures, Instagram, YouTube, everything. That's the only thing you got to search for if you go on to any of the socials. Apart from that, guys, there is a space on the end of the top of the display wall, which we are going to be filling with a Stranger Things tank. Now this, the last season comes out in November, I think it is, November, December. I'm a massive fan of Stranger Things one. The last one we auctioned off a charity, so this one is for me. So I'm being quite selfish and just keeping this one to myself, just to finish off my display wall. I'm going to be getting rid of a couple of enclosures on the display wall, just to make room basically, and just put some new updated ones. So yeah, we'll be selling them on at some point anyway. Apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for following, for watching the videos, for joining the Facebook group, joining, following me on Instagram, TikTok and all that malarkey. Apart from that, guys, yes, let's get started on the Stranger Things enclosures. Apart from that, I shall see you later.